What's up, everybody? Got another review for you, and this time we're going to be talking about the movie Dracula. Well, another year, another Dracula movie. Except this time, this new adaptation is helmed by director Luc Besson, who gave us other awesome movies such as The Fifth Element and Leon the Professional. As much as the infamous Bram Stoker's story has been bled dry by countless film remakes, I do, however, want to check this one out. Is it any good? Well, let's talk about it. The movie story follows when a 15th century prince denounces God after the devastating loss of his wife. He inherits an eternal curse. He becomes Dracula. Condemned to wander for centuries, he defies fate and death itself, guided by a single hope to be reunited with his long-lost love. I didn't love it, and I didn't downright hate the movie. If anything, I thought it was just okay at most. The movie was definitely not what I expected, but yet, I still managed to have some fun with it, I guess. Clearly, the movie has some issues, and of course, I would talk about those later. Right now, I want to talk about the good things the movie does have, whether it be its stunningly looking visuals, elaborate production design, and some wonderful acting. Other than that, there's really nothing else going in the movie's favor. First off, I will say that the movie's visuals were pretty amazing to look at. The production design was none other than immaculate, whether it be the sets, costumes, or whatever. Everything looks so elaborately put together. When it comes to the film's cinematography, all the many different shots were so well captured on camera with framing and lighting, it gives the movie a picturesque painting aesthetic to the movie that makes it look visually stunning. As far as the talent in front of the camera goes, I thought Caleb Landry Jones did a phenomenal job as the titular role of Dracula. It was a different take on the character with his performance, and he absolutely nails it with his own style. Christoph Waltz is also a great addition that's credited as a priest in the movie, but all of us Dracula nerds know that he's Van Helsing. Either way, he was just great with his performance as well. Of course, they had to revamp everything we know about Dracula for this movie for reasons unknown, as it takes a sharp turn away from the predatory horror of traditional vampire lore. Instead, it positions the Count as a tragic, romantic figure defined by grief rather than villainy. If you're a big fan of the Bram Stoker novel, you're probably not going to enjoy this new version of the story. Trading in the traditional vampire horror for some lovey-dovey romance story was definitely not my jive. Yeah, there are some bloody parts in the movie, but being a Dracula movie, it needed more of that. I absolutely hated the fact that this movie departs from the horror roots. I do want to talk about the elephant in the room here, but this movie is obviously a dollar store remake of Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 Dracula film. The story plays out exactly the same, and the visuals and costuming are all too similar. That doesn't scream, hey, I'm a ripoff, then I don't know what will. While the film aspires to be a sweeping, tragic gothic romance, it frequently undercuts its own gravity with bizarre creative choices and also how chaotic the movie's tone is. There is this weird subplot about a magical perfume that Dracula uses, and it really feels out of place for a movie like this. The movie even attempts to do comedy, but it doesn't stick the landing at all. If I wanted to watch a Dracula comedy movie, I'd much rather watch the Leslie Nielsen movie. Obviously, this new Dracula movie doesn't know what it wants to be. The writing has its hits and misses for the most part, but don't even get me started on the ending that is super out of character for Dracula. What they did for the ending was downright atrocious and goes completely out of its way to smear Bram Stoker's classic story. It's really insulting. With all that said, this movie is just alright at most. I've seen worse Dracula movies, but still, this could have been so much better if it wasn't trying to remake the Gary Oldman Dracula movie. Honestly, I'd much rather watch that movie than this one, as it is infinitely better. Either way, I can't in good heart recommend this movie because it's not all that. If you are curious about checking it out, I would probably wait for this to hit streaming. Overall, Dracula is a lavish operatic fever dream of a movie that somehow undermines Bram Stoker's novel as it manages to lack any actual bite. This is definitely one of those films that heavily focuses more on a stylish visual flair rather than having anything substantial to stand on. It's definitely not one of the worst adaptations of the classic story by any means, but it does, however, leave plenty of room for improvement. I give this movie a B minus. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Keep up my real reviews.